Good morning. Wealth Principle 6. Your business must solve a problem. How's everybody feeling this morning?
Cool.
Yeah, you ready to solve some problems?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Here's the deal with solving problems. The more problems you solve, the richer you get. The better the problem, the better the quality of the problem, the more pain there is, the richer you get. This is why we talk about adding value and not talk about work. You'll never hear me say that I want you to work hard, unless I'm talking about your mind. If I'm talking about your mindset, maybe it'll be working hard. You guys mind just closing that door in the back there? Thank you very much, my friend. So it's a principle right after the principle of build your business. There were 3 people here last week? Yes? You were there? Very good. So build your business is a requirement for wealth. Who here owns a business right now? Excellent. Who here knows that they have to build a business, regardless of whether they have one or not? No, yeah, I know you're raising your hand on the inside. I see you. Building a business is step 5. Before that, does anybody remember the other wealth principles? The first 4? I was think a million. In order to make $1 million, you must think $1 million. Your business must be able to make $1 million. It must be a $1 million business. It must have the ability to do it. And it was wealth principle 3.
Pick a location.
Location. Was it pick a location?
I think so. That was 3 or 4. There's
That's
definitely
3 or
one
4.
of
I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on.
Sounded good.
I want to make sure that I do it right, because if I take them out of order, it goes against everything we've already taught. Nope, that was 5. That was Mike. 4 is put all your eggs in one basket.
So
3,
must be location.
understand the 4 types of money: income, profit, flow, and equity. So if you haven't seen those, go back and watch those. But those 4 and 5 elements, we picked them first because without those in the beginning in your planning stages, notice none of this is mentioned work, none of this is mentioned adding value, none of this is actually action steps towards doing anything. Are we getting that? The beginning to making $1 million is all up here. It starts with the mindset, the understanding, the concepts, and then we're getting into action steps. So before we move forward into action steps, which really are marketing, sales, team building, those really are where the money is made. The doing of the actual task that makes money is somebody else's job if you're looking to be a millionaire. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Doing the work will never get you rich. There's no job on the planet that pays $1 million friggin' dollars. We get that. Because somebody else could just do it. If one person needed to be there to do it, that task, Emily, girl, you can sit right there. Right beside Andrew. Right between Kevin and Andrew. It's 2 champions. Trust me, you're gonna love sitting next to them. There is no job on the planet that pays $1 million unless you're a CEO of a company. In which case, you're doing what I'm teaching you how to do. You're running somebody's company for them. The highest paid position on the planet is running a company. Well, actually, the first highest position, if you look hourly, is owning the company. Right? Owning the company is the highest paid per hour job on the planet. Because once you own a true business, there's actually no work for you to do. So there are no hours entered. Does that make sense? Because a true business is like an investment. Once you've built it, you don't have to do anything with it. With an investment, once you've purchased it, you don't have to do anything with it. The more passive the investment, the lower the return. The more passive the business, the stronger the return. It's because at some point you've put people better than you in place of you. And one of the hardest things to learn early on, especially if you're a hard worker, which everyone here is a hard worker, yes, we're gonna get rid of that because that was the past. The harder you work, the less money you make. That is the true principle when it comes to building true wealth, right? I don't know a hard worker making more than $250,000. I really don't know a hard worker who's working all by themselves making more than $250,000. I know because my book, Broke to $250,000, started broke. And I wrote in that time period was when I was still working alone. After I started trusting other people, bringing in business partners, bringing in other people to my team, that's when I started really making wealth. And when I did it through actual income, I already had a team. Like my actual income step was, dude, I had a bunch of agents out there making the money for me. It wasn't me doing the hustle. Where are my real estate agents at? Licensed? Yeah. So you already know, you guys already know. You have to build a team to get rich. All right, Dom, I'm trying to get it through. I'm trying to get it through to you. Have you ever made $250,000 a year as a realtor?
Of course not.
Of course not. Wow. Okay.
There's one honest person in the room here.
There you go. It takes about 50 transactions in our market to do that. And 50 transactions is a lot of work. Most I did in a year was 21 by myself, and I didn't like that year at all. I was working pretty hard.
Stressed.
Yeah, I worked a lot for the first 6 months of the year. And I took the rest off. But the point was that I didn't like it. I didn't like how hard I had to work. And I made, I think, I made $90,000 that year as a realtor.
Yeah.
But my investments made me $35,000. I didn't really do much for them. So I looked at it and I said, I'm never working that hard again. How do we get around this? The key to Principle 6 is your business must add value. You must solve a problem. It's not about how hard you work, it's about how much value you deliver to the marketplace. How many problems can you solve? How big can those problems be? I solve a housing problem, right? In this unit, there's 10 units, 7 are residential. 7 people have houses because I decided to buy this building. 7 people have quality houses because I cleaned it up. 7 people have a safe place to live because I evicted 5 really bad tenants, including a drug dealer, a prostitute, a gang member. All 3 separate tenants. And I evicted a tenant in this unit right here that was running a really, really defunct pet store, which you think no big deal, right? Until you find mice and fleas and snakes running through the walls. And you realize that one unit's got to go. Because I came in and I added value, right? I solved the problem. I solved the problem not only for the investor before me, who just couldn't handle this building, I also solved the problem for the tenants. And now I get double the rents. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I agree. I think it's perfectly fine. I think where the landlord's at. There's a couple of us in the room, right? We solve a problem by buying property that other people can't manage anymore, don't want to manage anymore. They're too old, they're past it, they're over it, they're stressed. And we solve a problem for the tenants who were previously mismanaged, not cared for. And for the city, who is getting all the calls from housing, I don't get calls from housing anymore. But when I bought every building that I've bought, there were a lot of calls because I bought problem buildings. And I like those problems. I like solving problems for the city, for the people who have units that the landlords can't fix things. I have creative ways of fixing things. You know what my creative way of fixing it is? I pay somebody else to go in there and do it. Yeah, Kevin? No, let's give Kevin a round of applause. That's right. You can do it. Craig, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. You can solve bigger problems by becoming a bigger person, right? When I first started, I was solving 3 family problems. I go in, it was 3 units, and I didn't want more headaches. Right? Anybody in here think a 3 family is too much for them? It's okay to raise your hand. No? I got in a good room. Look at, they're all, none of them raise their hand. 3 families are cool with you guys. Who thinks a 6 family would be a little too much? Okay, that's okay. Who thinks a 12 unit would be a little too much?
Oh my God, jeez.
Who thinks 24 units would be a little too much? 24 units.
Yeah.
Maybe. How about 50? 50 units
Yeah,
at one
that's
time.
pretty
It'd be a little too much.
You know, I saw somebody do it. Not if it's one building.
Look, I'll be real with
Too
you.
much to do on
I still have a limit.
one person.
I still have a limit, even where I'm at. I'm at 57 units, and I had an opportunity to buy 150 units at a good price, and I choked on 150 units because I would have to put a whole new manager in place. This was in Syracuse, New York. I wasn't familiar with the location. That was another issue that I had. So it's possible that no matter how good you get, there's going to be some new level where you're not sure if you can do it. If you're not sure if you can swing it. And I think that that's okay. We grow in increments. But the bigger the problems you solve, the more money you make. So solve bigger problems. Who here is not in real estate? Excellent. Good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Here's the deal. I have a real estate following, but this training is all about making $1 million. Getting a net worth of $1 million. Dave, this spot for you right here, man. Get over here. Yeah, you're good. Right in the center, right between Josh. Josh, raise your head so you see him. All right, cool. Very good. Excellent. Dave, you're part of the family, man. You always sit in the middle with us. That's normally your spot.
Thank you.
I got you. So it's not just through real estate. In fact, we've not really talked about real estate much. Only because the room is mostly real estate have I related to you in that manner. But in reality, I've been talking business the entire time. There's only 3 ways to build wealth. 3 ways. You can build a business, you can buy real estate, and you can buy stocks. And I strongly suggest doing it in that order. Build a business, buy real estate, and buy stocks. Stocks are the lowest return and the simplest, or the most complex is enough to choose from, but it's the simplest way to invest. The problem is it takes money to invest in stocks. There's really no borrowing money to do this. Real estate does still take money, but the large majority of it, especially once you get good, can be other people's money. OPM, you heard of it? Say OPM.
OPM.
What's it stand for? Other people's money. That's right. Give yourselves a round of applause for knowing that one. My favorite is OPM. And you can do that in real estate. You can do 90% leverage by somebody else, right? Your first house, 3.5% down. That's 96.5% leveraged by the bank. 96.5% of other people's money. Who here's bought a house with no money down? VA loan, conventional now does 5%, FHA does 5%, USDA loan does no money down.
I did.
You did? Still, right?
Yes.
And USDA does no money down, Mass Housing does no money down, Rhode Island Housing does no money down, FHA, conventional now, you pay at 1 point higher, you do no money down. What program did you go through?
Hard money.
Hard money. No money down, right? Seller finance the rest, or you just want
Yeah.
100% hard money?
Yeah. Well,
Very
I had
cool.
a hard money lender that gave me 65% of ARV, and
Yeah.
that covered all the costs. So.
And your ARV was just that good. Because with a good enough deal, you can get any amount of money. I teach that at Get the Money, right? At Get the Money, we say the same thing. Who's wearing a wristband? Who's got an Alchemist wristband on? Nobody's wearing it, huh?
Where do we go?
Wow, you gotta go to one of my classes, man. There's 2 classes I teach where I pass out the wristbands. You can't buy them, you can't find them. But at the classes, Get the Money and Get the Deal, I pass out the wristband. There's a lesson behind it, right? There's a lesson that we run through, and I won't go into it, but it's experiential learning. This way the lesson sticks with you. Who here has taken the class with me, though? Yes. Excellent. Very good. Who here wants to take the class? Who's taking the class wants to take it again? I agree. It's just like my coaches. I go to their trainings all across the country over and over, and people ask, why are you going to the same training? Well, because I've gone to other trainings that didn't get the same return on investment. I go to these trainings and I seem to get more back out of it because their trainings are consistent. They're there to reprogram you wherever you're at. They're not there to be a technical skill, it's a mindset skill. So the mindset skills I go back to over and over again. The technical skills I take really good notes. Right? But you don't need to be taught technique after you learned it. Does that make sense? And technique really is only learned to be taught to somebody else. Does that make sense? We learn it, we do it, and then we teach it. That's the path of a millionaire. You learn it, you do it, and then you teach it. Yeah, you're gonna have to get your hands dirty at some point. But if you keep your hands dirty, it's really hard to go get rich. Does that make sense?
That's how the surgeons do it.
That's exactly right. Are you in the medical field?
I used to.
You used to be. So I used to work for Johnson & Johnson. I used to sell hip
So
implants.
sorry,
Yeah, it was rough. I'm an accountant right by trade. They put me in a medical field, which I always said I would never be in. I hate blood. I can't stand
That
it.
was a good company, though.
Phenomenal
It was.
company.
It was.
All right, and it got me eventually to meet my first real estate mentor, which got me out of it. But yes, so kudos to the medical field. Every so often something happens to me, I end up in a hospital, I'm like, thank God you guys do what you do, all right? Because I never wanted anything to do with it, but like, work your voodoo right now.
Watch one, do one, teach one.
That's right. That's right. Watch one, do one, teach one. That's a strategy. So the medical field has the same process, right? It's not rocket science. This is not surgery, but I will say that if you do things the right way, it works out very well, and if you do them the wrong way, results will vary. Let that one sit with you, all right? So the principle of your business must add value. Think about your business. Think about your business right now, focus on it. Your biggest business. I know a lot of you have multiple businesses and you're doing all sorts of different things, but think about the one that you know can expand the fastest. All right, wealth principle 4, I believe, was make sure that your business makes make sure your business makes $1 million. So think about the business that you know for sure there are people in your market or in other markets in your industry making $1 million. Think of that business. I'll focus on it. And focus very clearly who pays you, who actually hands you the check, right? Who, not necessarily who you're servicing in the moment, but who actually pays your bill. If you're in the medical field, it's not actually the client. Is that correct? It's the insurance company. So think of it that way. If you're in real estate, it's not actually your broker, it's the seller of the property. Even if you're working on the buy side, it's still the seller, right? In the wholesale industry, it's still the seller. So the seller pays your bill if you're in real estate. No matter how you look at it, the seller pays your bill. So the seller's your top priority. What problems are you solving for that person? In the medical field, your insurance company pays your bill. So what problem are you solving for the insurance company? What other fields do we have in the room?
What do you say?
What other fields?
Well,
Financial.
I'm in financial services, but the insurance company and those, they're the ones who pay us the money around, is that correct?
Correct. It's typically not the person you think it is paying the bill. It's not always the person you're servicing paying the bill, which means there's more money on the other side of the business. If you move to where the money is, the money has a shorter path to get to you, and it goes a little faster. Does that make sense? Solving the problems of the people who have the most money means making more money. Yes? So think about your business. Think about the problems that people are servicing are having. Think about what they're going through, why they're having issues. Think about your end user. For me, end user, once I own a building, is now my tenants. They're the end user. They're the person who's having the biggest problem. If they don't have a place to live, family gets cold, right? So we're solving a problem for them. With my agents, I solve problems for my agents. What are my real estate agents at? A couple of you in the room here, yeah? For my agents, I'm solving a problem. What is the problem for an agent? They're lacking training. They're lacking motivation. They're lacking skill set. They're lacking knowledge. They're lacking the ability to just do a transaction. They're lacking leads. Don't know where the leads are, right? I service that by saying, hey, here's where it is. I do events like this. Here's a buyer who wants to buy more real estate. Every single one of you wants to buy more real estate? Excellent. Who here has an agent right now that they're working with? Well, that's not going to work. Who here wants an agent to work with to go buy real estate? Amy, can you stand up? Put your hands up if you need an agent to go work to buy real estate. Put your hands a little higher. Amy is an investor, actually owns property, right? She's an investor, owns real estate. If you're looking for somebody to work with to buy property, connect with her. Does that make sense? Yes? Getting it? Excellent. Amy, you got their faces?
I do.
You get the facial recognition?
I'll go see them there.
All right, when we break, you stand at the door and grab them, real quick. Add value to the people that you service, right? Add value to the people in your community. As real estate investors, am I adding value to you guys? Yes, absolutely. Making sure that you're always solving problems. There's a problem out there, that the elephant in the room, right? The elephant in the room is you don't know what to do to get to the next level. That's what it is. Every business owner, you don't know what it is to get to the next level. If you knew, you'd already do it. I know that because if you already knew, you'd be doing it. And some of you are doing it, but you're still in here because you want to do it on a bigger level, right? There's a problem to solve. Solve bigger problems. Solve bigger problems and you will make bigger money. Solve small problems more often, you'll make big money. There's quantity and there's volume. There's volume and there's quality. You can do more for a cheaper price, or you can do less at a higher price, right? You're in the Subway business, right, Mel? Sell $5 sandwiches, $6 sandwiches. But you do a lot of those sandwiches, you make a lot of those dollars. It's a high volume, actually it's a high quality product too. I do like the sandwiches.
They're delicious.
They are delicious. Where are your stores located? What locations?
Swansea and Bristol.
Swansea and Bristol. So if you're in Swansea or Bristol and you want a Subway, I'm condoning that Subway. Those are the good ones. Because we've got a real estate investor who's looking to make a little more money so she can invest a little bit more money. So if you're going to eat a Subway, you might as well eat in Swansea and Bristol. Just being real. Feel good about those. All the other ones, it's like, I don't know these people. Seriously. Seriously. Mel was with us in Vegas. We got to go to the Millionaire Mavericks Success Live event together. We talked about just mindset, just getting out of your own way, getting to the next level. He went through a lot of the stuff I talk about here, except he did it for 36 hours. Actually, it's probably longer than that, because the next night he networked with us on Saturday, so it was the whole time. Did you get something out of that, Mel?
Yeah, definitely.
Was it worth the trip?
Yeah.
How was Vegas?
That's fun.
It was fun.
Did you go on the party bus with him?
She did not. She was good. She was actually with Paul still, training. They were networking, they were making money.
Oh no, there was
so.
only one seat left, that's why.
Is that why?
That's why.
Oh. Okay. Well then, I would have kicked somebody out. I knew exactly who I would have kicked out, so you could have been in. It wouldn't have been you, Andrew. We had way too much fun. You too. So, knowing that there are bigger problems, you can admit right now that in your business there's bigger problems you could be solving. Right? If you're looking at the problems you're solving every day, there are bigger problems that you could solve for exactly the same people, or just shifting your skill and serving them differently. Serving a different person within the same company doing exactly what you're doing, but with the intention of serving that person just a little better. We can see that very clearly. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yes? Very good. The action step is go do it. The action step is start serving in the current position, in the place that you're at. Now, is there a place you'd rather be? Is there a place where you know you can make more money? Yes. What is that? What is a place you think you can make more money?
First, I have to be a student and learn like the skills
Without getting stuck in the steps.
to make more money. Buying a house to get real estate.
Okay.
I know that could stop.
Everybody thinks that would work? Yeah, it would. Okay, give her a round of applause. Good stuff. Right. What else? What's a business that you're not in right now, or a position that you're not in right now that you'd like to be in, that you know would help you make more money?
Food, restaurant,
Food, restaurant,
stock market,
telemarketer,
desktop market,
stock market. As a broker or as somebody investing in the stock market?
investment.
Investing, yes. And yes. Food and beverage.
Food and beverage,
Yes. What else?
Getting my securities license.
Getting your securities license. That's the next step up, right? Because now you can add more value to people. What else?
Rehab,
Rehabs.
GC.
Yep, absolutely. Being a GC, doing the rehabs for other people. Yes, because now you're solving their problems. There's a big vacuum in the market of good quality contractors. There is. There's a vacuum in the market for good quality restaurants, for people evening out the stock market, for people investing in the stock market. In fact, I was just texting one of my buddies. He texted me and said, "Hey man, stock market's down. You might want to get in. Now's a good time to buy on the low, on the dip." I was like, "Dude, I already dropped 50 grand on my account yesterday." Like, because I posted those checks, and he was like, "Yeah, put those checks to work." I was like, "Yeah, they are," because I don't actually take my own money and invest in real estate anymore. Right? I'm past that point where that money is house money. It's running. That machine is running. It does its own thing, and now all the cash we take, we do put in stocks. It's the third level. It's the next space. And it's okay to do that. It's okay to diversify a little bit. And he asked me, he's like, "Well, what are you getting into?" I was like, "Dude, I'm in REITs. I'm in real estate investment trusts. I'm not going outside of my lane." Hold on. He was like, "You have always been that way. Like, you just square peg in a square hole. If you in your box," he said, you always invested in one basket. He's like, "All your eggs are in one basket." And I texted back and said, "I guard the shit out of that basket." And that's always been the joke between us. He's a financial advisor. He wants me to diversify, and he's looking out for me, and he's right. If I wasn't trying to get rich, like if I just wanted to coast, he'd be absolutely right. If I want a little bit of growth, he'd be absolutely right. But a little bit of growth, a little bit of comfort, it's not my goal. And if you're looking to make $1 million, it's probably not your goal either, right? Now, with $1 million, you might be comfortable? Yeah, it's okay. It comes with a freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want, with whoever you want. I have the ability to build a business where I get to hang out with the best people on the planet. Entrepreneurs, people who want more, people looking to do more, real estate investors, people who are in between that transition of, I'm done working for other people, I want to do my own thing. And so you want an investment that allows that growth, that ability for you to go and add value, yes, but let's be real, we're looking at the freedom first, right? I'm talking about solving problems, and a lot of investors, a lot of gurus will tell you, especially Tony Robbins, you gotta have your why, you gotta have your passion, you gotta go out there and you gotta do things for a bigger purpose, right? And I'll be honest with you, that's not how I started. I started with, I just want out of this job, and I want to get to a freedom place, and I'll figure out the purpose later. Muscled my way through. Has anybody ever rock climbed before? Have you rock climbed? Can you envision rock climbing, right? Where there is a skill to putting your weight to certain spaces, and if you put your hand here and everything's underneath and you swing, you can envision how it'd be smarter to know what you're doing, right? And if you don't, you're just gonna muscle your way through it. Anybody ever do one of those Spartan races or where they have the obstacles and the mud runs? Yes?
Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudders, yep. I've done those. I've done with my brother because he's obsessed with that stuff. He runs Amp Academy in the city, which is a martial arts, ninja warrior, parkour, athletic and movement parkour place, right? So he's obsessed, and I'm more of I like leverage. Like if it's possible, I'll just pay somebody to go do this. I'll buy the medal, bro. Like, no worries, I can take the pictures at the end. But because I care about my brother and it's important to him, not that I buy the medal to actually go through the process. I went through the process, and he is a talented, very skilled, highly energetic, highly fit person. I am a real estate investor. We have a different set of skills. But I was working out pretty heavily. Actually, Christina knows I used to work out very heavily in the gym. So I had the strength. I didn't have the running part though, because that was cardio, which we avoid. And I also didn't have dexterity that somebody who climbs all the time has. So on the obstacles, I'm thinking that's the only place I have an opportunity, and then I'm remembering how talented and skilled he is at obstacles. He's putting no effort. It's like seeing a gazelle. You ever watch the goats? Like go up mountains sideways? And it's like it's impossible how they move like that? Or a spider that just climbs up walls that are flat, and it's like, how do they do it? My brother's like that. It's like something out of The Exorcist. It's just like up the wall over, and it's like. So your competitive spirit must kick in, because at this point you can't lose to your little brother, right? So, so I use every trick in the book. Talk to him while we're running. Keep him there with me, building the bond. It's not about racing ahead, bro. It's about spending time together. On the obstacle itself, muscling my way through it, just throwing weight because I don't have the skill, but I knew I had the muscle. So it was just like you force your way through things. And that's kind of what building the business in the beginning will be like. You're muscling your way through it. You're using every trick in your book to even the battlefield, right? Because obviously the investors out there who do this every day, like myself, like we just snap, the deal's done, other people are doing it, so we're on the next deal. Within 5 or 10 minutes of evaluating, I'm on to the next one. It could already be bought, I don't care. Somebody's handling it, Ron will handle it, right? Whereas for you, that first deal, you're spending all of your time, you're spending probably a week, 2 weeks on evaluating and paying attention and what's going wrong. You're stressing and sweating it. Well, I'm in Vegas thinking, I bought a deal that closed in 2 months. Who cares, right? 2 deals closed while I was gone. Does that make sense? It's okay that in the beginning you're gonna muscle your way through it to get the first couple ones. My brother probably had to muscle his way through a couple of walls before he figured out how it actually works, before his body said, there's an easier way to do this. Let's not hurt ourselves like that anymore. Let's just go the path of least resistance, pay attention to leverage, what makes sense. But in the beginning, it's gonna hurt, right? Those first days in the gym, anybody worked out before? Yeah, we've all done it. We've all pretended to be in the gym, right? January 1st, we're like, I'm in it, let's go! January 15th, I'm sore. Let's go next week. Right? Those moments of soreness are your body saying, are you sure you want to do this? It's the universe checking you saying, well, you've never done this before. Are you committed to being successful in this arena? That's the you feel physical ailment when you change things about your body, yes?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with your mind, right? Because making money is all finance is all mental. No money ever came to you from physical labor, if you really think about it. All money ever came to you from a negotiation with somebody else. A negotiation for hours, hourly wage, a negotiation for an amount paid to do something, and then the work was delivered, but it didn't necessarily have to be specifically delivered by you, unless that was in the negotiation. Does that make sense? Finances are completely mental. It's a 100% mental game. This is why my brother can be the most fit person on the planet, but I can be the most financially fit person on the planet. Right, we can be side by side and have 2 completely different strengths and have 2 completely different paths and be extremely good in 2 different arenas in life, but they don't cross over at all. Does that make sense?
Yep.
The only crossover he and I have is that commitment to excellence in whatever we do. And so financially, he has the advantage because he's got a commitment to excellence with his physical body and his business that he switches over and he says, I'm just gonna do this, what are the principles? And same with me, when I decide to go back to the gym or I wanna work out with him, I just, hey, what are the principles here? Like, so instead of me just going and doing it by myself, where should I be putting my hand right now? Where should my weight be going? And asking those questions to somebody you know already has the answers. It just streamlines the process. Is this making sense? It's very clear. Anybody cold? Hey, warm up now? Alright, cool. Excellent. How are you doing for time? Good, I got about 11 minutes left. So, the value add to your business doesn't necessarily have to be the path it's been, but for the moment, you probably have to do what you've been doing for a while longer. You do want to identify what pays the most. In the beginning of the business, I recognized that real estate was the path that made the most. I was an accountant. I was an accountant doing accounting. It was a very boring mental game, but I realized that the richest people on the planet own real estate. That was a connection I was able to make, and everyone in the room knows that by just Googling for a few minutes where all the money is, right? Even the biggest businesses, their net worth is in their real estate that they own for the business. You look at Amazon, they own some of the biggest buildings on the country. They have massive warehouses, massive expensive trucks, equipment. They have a lot of their wealth in physical assets. Now their technology and their licensing, that's where most of their wealth comes from. The fact they're doing a ton of transactions. But even their assets are huge. McDonald's, it's all about their real estate. That's where the money is. So it's very interesting that early on I realized I was broke because I wasn't in the right business, but I also knew I couldn't just shift into the business because I didn't have any experience there. But I knew that that was set too. I knew that I had to do something to get into that arena, and I had to build a business so that eventually I could actually do what I want to do for a living. One of the first steps is get into the corridor, get into the arena. And since I had to build a business anyway, might as well build a business in the industry that I wanted. So I got my real estate license, and I thought that was the path. And it turned out for me to be a path. Wholesaling is another path. Where are my wholesalers at? People who wholesale. Okay. Yeah, you do a great job. Very good. Real estate agents, where are you at? Contractors, plumbers, electricians. We're all in the trade. Insurance agents, mortgage brokers, roofers, right? We're all in the trade. We're all somewhere in the corridor, somewhere, attorneys, right? We're in there somewhere where we're actually every day seeing the real estate, seeing the properties, right? If you're a homemade care, right? As you go to people's houses?
Human services.
Human
yeah.
services.
Yeah.
You're in the real estate every day. You're in there in people's lives where you're seeing them in distraught situations where they may mention they need to get rid of this house because financially they're in some trouble.
Right.
You have an opportunity that every single one of us wishes we had. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's an advantage.
You're in an unfair advantage. Unfair advantage, right? Bigger pockets is what we look for at all times. In real estate investing, you want an unfair advantage. The mailman has an unfair advantage because he knows every single house that is vacant. Because it says it right on the mailbox. No one here. The mail's been stuffed up for a couple of weeks. He says, I'm not delivering there anymore. But he stops just short of making money. If the mailman called me up and said, hey, that house is vacant, do you want me to get you the person's number or find out where they're at? I would pay him greatly. If the deal went through, he made that connection with me, boom, right? No problem making that payment because it's all about added value to my business. You solve my problem, right? Whatever you're doing today doesn't have to be what you're doing tomorrow, but it does have to be there for a while until you can identify the thing that's going to pay you the most. Whatever path you take to get the most amount of money, make that your next step. But be careful not to add steps in between what that truly is, right? If your highest value piece is being an investor, then don't add too many steps in between. Just aim for that, right? A lot of people will aim for this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and say that after this crazy path they get to this, when they really could have just jumped straight to it. Does that make sense? Sometimes you just have to do what you're doing for a little bit longer to be able to get that first deal and turn that first deal and turn that second deal. Don't quit your job until you've turned two. At least two, right? I made the mistake of quitting my job before turning a single one. I owned rental property, but I hadn't figured out how to get the money out of the buildings yet. I hadn't figured out the refinance piece, or I hadn't figured out the flip piece. So you want to make sure that you've at least figured out how to get the money out of the building so you can sustain your life before you quit. I made the mistakes. Don't make the same mistakes I made. You want to do yourself a favor and do things the right way. So, I've got an opportunity for everyone who hasn't been already. This upcoming end of the month, Paul Fink is doing another training in New Jersey. He's doing the Maverick Success Live event, which we just went to in Las Vegas. He's doing it in New Jersey because it's not Orlando one, it's the one in June or July. In Vegas is going to be his 50th boot camp.
Mhm.
So he had to put in an extra boot camp this year to make sure he hit his 50th. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's kind of like that, right? He travels all over the country for a living, teaching people how to build abundance. And so he asked me, he was like, hey, do you think you get some people to the New Jersey one? I was like, yeah, I mean, why, right? Because I'll do it, like I'll pitch it, I'll mention it, because I'm definitely going to Orlando. I'm on track for Orlando anyway. And you're on track for Orlando anyway, right? Maverick? Oh, we'll see, because you gotta go to the summer first, it's on you now.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh.
You go in Florida?
I'm
She has to
actually
finish.
going to Florida that week anyway, so
Mhm.
I'll be in Orlando.
Okay,
Well, let's see what's
all right,
Yeah.
all right, so we'll hang out.
Well,
So, I'll be at that one anyway, but he asked me to come to New Jersey. He asked me to bring some people to New Jersey. So I told him I will. I'll offer it. I can't guarantee that people are going to want to go. I did offer it at Get the Deal Thursday. I had 6 people sign up, so now I know I'm committed. So they're going, so I'll go. And he's like, yeah, just come and hang out. I'm like, Paul, I can't just come and hang out. I'm going to sit there the whole time taking freaking notes. Like, I'm going to make another couple $100,000 because I'll have met somebody in the room who's doing something, right? And we'll start working together. That's just what I do. I was like, yeah, I know. That's okay. Bring your people, right? Bring your people, bring them, make some money. So his event does cost $2,000 for the 3 days. I do offer it at a discount with my mastermind, which the dates are here. Who's part of my Alchemist mastermind right now? Melly signed up. You're right. Yeah, you are. So this we meet 6 times a year. Notice I'm missing next year's because I haven't decided whether I'm starting it in January or February, because I plan on being in Orlando for 4 of those months. I probably will fly back, or I may say, hey, come down to Orlando. It depends on the group. It depends on how everybody's feeling, if they want to check out what I've been up to. So November 1st, I'm moving to Orlando. I'll be down in Florida for 4 months. Anybody know why?
Fine, probably.
Because it's cold up here. Because I can. Because the fallacy of you gotta wait till you're 55 to become a snowboarder is bullshit. Yeah.
That's right, right on.
That's right. Because if you retire young or retire rich, you get to do whatever the hell you want. And yes, I'm gonna buy property down there, obviously. I can't be in a rental market like Orlando and not start moving some properties. So I'm hunting. I'm actively hunting in the Orlando market right now. I have people on the ground who are doing some of the hunting for me. And I have real estate investors in that community. So when I go down there, it's not just gonna be fun and games. Obviously I'll be working, I'll be out there networking, doing the same thing I've always done, 'cause that's what I love. But I'll be in warm weather. While you guys are up here shoveling the white stuff. Throwing down the salt. Making sure your tenants don't trip and fall. Well, my property manager is doing that job for me. You guys are getting this. It's possible for you too. Mel, why are we not hanging out in Orlando all winter long?
I don't know.
I don't know either. I told my mentor yesterday, because he's been working hard. He's been working hard his whole life. He did property management. He owns 192 units in the city. He's been working hard. And I told him yesterday, I was like, hey, bro, just so you know, Orlando, November 1st, I'll be down there. And then last week and the week before, I've been mentioning it to him. This past month, I've been mentioning it to him, telling him, why are you still doing this? Why are you still working so hard in your business? Trust somebody to take it over and run, like, let them run it. And he's like, you know what? Last night we were smoking a cigar. He said, I'm gonna beat you down there. I was like, whoa, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, I'm getting a trailer. He's like, I just sold one of my condos. I'm gonna buy a trailer. Look at this $50,000 mobile home. He said, I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna see where I want to live. He's like, I'm gonna travel the whole country. I'm gonna golf in every single state. I looked at him. I was like, oh, this is a whole different person. Like, I left for a week. Like, what happened? But his wife has been working on him, saying, look, we're not getting any younger. Let's go enjoy ourselves. We worked so hard to build this multi-million-dollar company, and it really does run without us why don't we just put a couple of systems in place and we go on a vacation? Right? I believe in micro vacations, right? Micro retirements. 3 months, 4 months. Anybody read the 4-Hour Work Week? 4-Hour Work Week is your book of the week. We don't have Mike Shine here today to introduce the book, but book of the week is the 4-Hour Work Week. The principle is that you can build a business that operates with 4 hours of your effort every single week. You don't have to put more than that. Anybody know I don't check emails? Yeah? Except for one time a week. One time a week I go and I check. Anybody know that I don't make phone calls? Yeah. Anybody know that I don't check my voicemail? Text only, right? Text only. And if it's something that I don't actually physically do, it goes right to my team. Who here has ever been introduced to one of my team members at some point? All right, you haven't asked me for enough yet. Ask me for something and you'll be introduced to one of my best. Because that's how it operates. I train people to be better than me and then I hand you to people who are better than me at what I do. I offer a solution and I give you somebody who's better at solving it. Because that's how you make money. That's how you solve problems on a bigger scale. You've got to build a business that you understand, you learn it, then you do it, and then you train it to people who just do that one thing, they do it better than you do it. And that's the key to wealth. This making sense, guys?
Yes.
Yes? Are you ready to become a millionaire? Yes? If you're interested in both the mastermind and you're interested in coming to the Maverick Success Live event with me in New Jersey at the end of the month, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's intense, but you'll be hanging out with me and you'll be hanging out with Paul and you'll be hanging out with all of the other people who are looking to who double their income that year. It's a 4 or 5 hour drive from here, so it's really not that bad for the guys who are local. And the hotels out there are actually pretty cheap, but I found that there's Airbnbs in the area that are even cheaper. So it actually makes sense to stay at an Airbnb, learn a whole different element of real estate investing, short-term rentals, and get into the whole system in that manner. Everything's a learning experience, right?
Yes.
And learn how to take a weekend away from this world, this life, to experience an education with yourself. Separating 100% from this community for 3 full days, leaving all the responsibilities behind and going and saying, I'm just going to learn, I'm committing to my success for the next 3 days. It's a powerful, powerful experience. I do it often because I realize that's where most of my growth comes when I'm outside of the city. When I get out of Fall River, when I get out somewhere else, surrounded by other people who are not from there either, bringing their own skill sets and separating from the people who, family, like when my family or friends text me out there, I'm like, it's a text, it's a quick text, I don't have to deal with them. There's no meeting up with them, there's no mindset shift. When I'm out there and I'm obsessed, when we were in Vegas, we were locked in. We were locked into that event, we were locked in with each other. We had no choice but to stay in success, stay and move forward, stay in growth. There were points where we did things that I never even wanted to do. We jumped off of a freaking building, right? Like it's never been on my to-do list. I'll be honest with you. And no, not even close. Amy was like, we've got to do it. In fact, it was Mel's husband, Steve. He's like, we're breaking through barriers. I broke a board. Like, we've got to go. We've got to like get out of our comfort zones, right? We got to do this. I'm like, I'm outside of the comfort zone every day, right? Like, I like bed, you know? It's comfortable there. And Steve's like, come on, we got to do it. Let's go. And Amy doesn't take much to get inspired to go do something exciting. She's like, we got to go. If you go, I'll go. And I was like, fine. You know, not interested in taking a 50-50 shot at death, you know? That's how I look at it. If one thing goes wrong, it's gonna go sideways, right?
There's no coming back from that.
There's no coming back from that. I got a lot of things that I want to do first, right? There's like amounts of money that I haven't experienced. I don't know what it's like to ride on a yacht, right? I haven't experienced that yet. I don't know what it's like to fly over on a helicopter and like be the guy, the pilot. I want to pull a Kobe, like be on kidding. But I want the option of choosing that, right? I probably wouldn't because of the thing with heights, right?
You always fly a plane, not a helicopter.
Fly a plane, not a helicopter.
Because planes glide, helicopters just come down.
I don't like that math. You're right. I'm going to avoid the helicopter because they don't have the option of gliding.
No, they just drop.
They just, things didn't work out. Later, guys.
I got that good tip from him.
And here, let's be real. There's no parachuting out of a freaking helicopter that's going wrong. Because there's 20-foot death blades above you, right? It's just a bad design. It really is a terrible design. Okay, that's not how I'm spending my millions. Though. Good point.
Get a
Yeah.
private jet.
Boat, private jet. Yes, so you're right. Somebody else can fly that thing for me. Why am I'm not interested in flying either. That's work. I can't text if I'm flying a plane. Josh, what's up, brother? So, I'm looking to make a lot more money. I want to live a better life. I want to travel to places I've never seen. There's people I've never met. There's probably some amazing people out there that are going to change my life. I can't go and jump off a building and die. Like, that's a terrible story. Right? We're just getting started. So I said, okay, let's go do it. So the entire time. Of course I did. Come on. Amy was pushing me. I had Steve. They were excited. They were amped up. And the success rate has been pretty high. I mean, nobody's died on this event yet. So.
But we didn't look that up.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't actually look into it, which was probably a good thing. I thought somebody had done this math. I thought at least Mel was like. So we go out there and everybody's amped up. And we're having a blast. Like we've just come out of this awesome training, and we're saying, yeah, we're gonna do some experiences. And so we're all in there. And here's the funny thing, and this is one thing that I'll say that is a testament to how much self-development I've done, is the entire time, even Steve, the champion, was like, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little scared. His wife refused to go with us. She was like, I'm staying right here, where it's safe. This ground, guaranteed. Never let me down. And Amy's like, yeah, well, yeah, but no, I'm fine. And her husband, terrified. Andrew was like, don't want to do this. Nothing in me, in fact, there are things in me that don't want to do this. There are things right now that are saying, this is a bad idea. Right? And my brother was nervous, the girls I was with were nervous, and Karina and Steph, they're both like, I don't know, but like, yes, but no. And the entire time I was just like, well, I'm not scared yet. I mean, I realize that this is not the brightest thing I could be doing. But on the other side, I'm thinking the social media pictures are going to be fantastic. So on the other side of this is going to be entertaining, right? Like, there's content to be created here. So that was the only motivation, aside from the fact that my team wanted to go. My team wanted to go, I was going to go. So we're hanging out, and they're like, oh, are you nervous yet? And there was women in line behind us, like, you want to go first? I was like, you can go. It's like, no, like, oh, I feel like only a psychopath would not be scared at this right now. In my head, I was like, I've been called that before. It's okay. Maybe this is proof, right? I called my brother over because he's like, I think maybe on some level you might be a little bit of a psycho. And I was like, oh, Josh, I just actually got called a psycho because I wasn't comfortable with I didn't have any fear. And he was like, no, yeah, we've established that you don't actually experience fear the way you should, right? Because most people experience it before the activity. You experience it in the moment, right? When there's actually a reason to have fear, you actually experience it. And medical terms would call that psychosis because you're not paying attention to fear the same way, you're not empathizing with fear with other people. But in that moment, I was like, okay, this is a superpower. I'm okay with this fear because there's actually nothing there yet. There's actually nothing there stopping you or killing you or hurting you. There's only the potential. And that's all fear is. You've got to kill the fear. You've got to lose your mind. You got to get a little crazy because that fear is not doing you any good. Right? I think it's okay to be just a little crazy. Just a little psychotic where you're just like, everybody else is afraid, but I'm not.
I feel a lot better now.
The fact that we're relating on this one scares me. But it's but it's part of the game. You gotta trick your mind a little bit and say, fear is not real. The fear doesn't belong there yet. Now, I will say that when I put my hand, actually, no, it's just the fear started a little bit before that. We got all the way up, we're going up the elevator, and it's 108 feet up straight, right? This elevator is no joke. You're at the bottom, and then you're at the top in like 15 seconds. They don't have that elevator anywhere else. Trust me, this elevator is in the city that I'm just like, push the button. I feel like I gotta set up camp and start a fire. And maybe it'll get to the second floor. This one's just boom! And you get out of the door and it's like, I can see everybody around me sweating. Like, we're here already? We're here? That happened? And it's like, yeah, this elevator's fast. It gets to the top quick. You look over, you see all of Vegas. Tiny. Super tiny. and then they tell you we're gonna go up a little bit more, and then you're gonna go outside. So we get up there, and there's this little box, little glass box, and it's got a door on it, and it's got all these like warning lights and stuff because on the other side of the box is outside. So we get there. Who was I with? I was with Amy. You didn't come up with
I
me.
didn't come up with you.
I had. Did I have Andrew? I had
No.
Steve.
No, we want Steve too.
You had Josh.
I had Josh. I had Josh, Karina, and Steph. So I had Josh, badass. He's jumped out of planes before, right? My brother. Of course he has. He's thinking. In my head, I'm thinking he's thinking no big deal. I look over at him and was like, Josh, you nervous? He's like, yep. Kids jumped out of planes. Like, what do you mean you're nervous? So we're on this side of the wall, right? We're on this side of the door still, and we're having this conversation. And I look over at Steph. I was like, Steph, how are you feeling? She's like, oh, I'm terrified. Like, no, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I want
Can
to
you
do
back
this.
up right now?
Right. She's like, maybe we're not gonna. And Karina, her sister's same. She's like, I'm excited, but I don't want to do this right now. So I was like, well, who's going first? Well, somebody said, who's going first? I was like, I will. Like, didn't even think about it because I didn't want. It was my chance to be cool. I'll be honest. That was it. It was all I had. Because I did the math earlier on the way up. I was like, well, no matter what, I got to go out the damn door. I got no way of being cool if I suck at this. I'm probably going to scream like a little girl if, in this situation, fear hits me quick enough. Probably not going to have any control over things. So I was like, the only play I have, because I can't control it, is I'm going to go first. This way, nobody can judge me. Because I'll already be at the bottom. I'll already be down there recording their descent. So I say, I'm gonna go first. Instantly regret it. As soon as the guy opened the door and I walked through,
Bad idea.
that's where fear hit. As soon as I realized there was no more glass, there was no more protection between me and the fall, if that makes sense. It was inside the room where I was like, oh, this is real. Excellent. There's a lot of rules in here. And there's two gentlemen there. I was like, what are the rules, gentlemen? And just let me know. What would you like from me now? Because I trust you more than I trust myself in this box. Outside in the world, I've got a pretty good set of skills. In this arena, it's whatever you say. This is your dome. This is your masterpiece. I'm here. I am your student, right? And so they said, well, turn around, put your hands on the wall. I was like, oh, this is familiar. Just kidding. I've actually never been arrested, so knock on wood, right? So, hands on the wall. I was like, I've seen this in movies. Okay,
They have
this
to
is.
your back leg out too.
Yep, and then they're like, show me your feet.
Yeah.
What, a horse? They're like, check my feet. Whatever. This is important, right? They want to make sure your shoes don't fall off,
Yeah.
right? Because you need to have your shoes at the bottom for landing.
Or they might like hit someone if
Or they might kill somebody if they fall off. All right, safety. It's high. It's 108 stories. It's an over 800-foot drop.
I thought you said 108 feet.
108
855
stories.
And you did this why?
Exactly. To prove that I could. To get outside of the comfort zone. To get Steve outside of his comfort zone. That's why I did it for a friend. And I did it for the selfie. I did it for the pictures and the video.
Yeah, the video.
I'm gonna
Have you
actually.
seen your video?
Here's the problem. They put the video on a stick.
I have my video.
I live a cell phone lifestyle. I don't live a laptop lifestyle like these guys do.
You plug it in the laptop, email it to yourself, pull it up on your phone.
Right. So I don't carry a laptop ever. So I do have the stick on my computer desk, which I never sit at. So I will, at some point today, go and plug it in so I can have this sweet video. And I'm going to make a little montage. It's going to be really cool. You're going to love it. That's my blast. That was the whole point in this jump. Was I just wanted something entertaining to post on social media so everybody else could be like, maybe I should do something different with my life. Maybe I should go do real estate investing and make some money and get rich so I can jump off of buildings. Because it looks fun, or then it is.
That was fun.
No, it was fun. But the fear factor up to that point. So he strapped me up, and then he says, okay, walk out on the ledge. Like, he just nonchalant, like, hey, walk out on the ledge.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Every time that's ever said in a movie, somebody dies. Right? like this is not the best part. Like this is terrifying. And fear hit me the second the door closed, and every single step towards the opening, and then there's like the metal grate which is like corrugated metal, and you can see through it.
Oh,
That's so real. And here's the psychosis. This is where I know I'm a little crazy. Because it was a new experience, even though I was terrified, inside my head was like, we got to enjoy this, right? Inside my head I was like, embrace this. Don't close your eyes. Enjoy every bit of this fear. Take it in, because fear doesn't happen to me much. It doesn't happen too often anymore. So when I experience it, I want to see what's really going on. Like, what is this thing that everybody's experiencing all the time? Like, I don't remember it so well. So inside, like, something crazy is like, well, this is really cool, right? Like, sweating, heart's beating. It's like everything says, don't do this. Like, I can literally feel my muscles saying, like everything says, push back, go back the other direction. Like, and it's feeling my whole body freak out on me, right? And every step, like, more intense, like legs getting wobbly because they're like, no, you belong going that way. Like, my legs are like, let's stop, so he'll stay here. And going, and the guy says, okay, put your hand on the railing. I was like, I gotta go that far out? Put my hand on the railing.
That's literally off the thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like, the railing is way out there. I'm like, oh, all right, put my hand on the railing. And then I put your other hand on that railing. I was like, that's out there. Sure, you're in charge. And he says, second security clip installed. Second clip on. Oh, and in the room, they actually have two people check. So he checks, then the other guy comes over and does a second check. I like that. These are checkpoints in my life. If you wanna make sure that I'm happy, check and double check. I love those things, especially with my life on the line. So he checks and double checks, and then I go out, and then he says, second clip on. Everything was like, we got a backup. Just in case the first one goes down, they'll at least have something dangling me out there. So it's gotta be okay. Always have a second strategy in your business, an exit strategy, a second plan, just in case shit goes sideways, in case things go wrong, right? Real estate investing, you can rent it or you can sell it. Always have that second option. That's why we buy with deep equity, right, Josh?
Sir.
That's right. Give Josh a round of applause. One of my favorite wholesalers right there. So, right as fear is taking over, getting crazy, somebody gives me the counsel that there's a second clip. Okay, perfect. And he says, put your feet out there, and he says, on the count of 3, I'm going to tell you to jump. I previously asked, how do we do this to get the most experience? That's what my coach encouraged me to do. And he said, you push off, but don't jump up. If you jump up, men tend to hit their heads on the thing. Well, I don't want to do that. So I got to the edge, and he counted really fast, like way faster than I expected him to count. Maybe my time was just slow, but he counted really freaking fast. And here's the deal. My brother and the 2 girls I was hanging out with were outside the room. 3 entrepreneurs, right, hustlers, who were looking up to me to be the first guy out. And something in me said, I'm not going to let them think that this is hard or scary. I want them to think like, no big deal about this. So that when they get out there and the guy pushes them, it's going to be a little bit of mindset for them, right? Because I didn't get pushed. I'm not about to have somebody come over and like toss me out of a freaking window. It's my choice, right? Same when my hair started going. I was like, no, I'm not going bald. I'm bald. Decision. It was the same thing. So he's like, 1, 2, and he said, go. And I was like, pushed off, like with everything I had, and just went. And I started talking to the camera, letting him know how cool it was. Because at the end of the day, it was all about creating content. And after a little while, after literally that split second of nothing touching you anymore, you live in the moment again. You allow fear to exist in the moment that fear must exist, to protect you, to keep you safe, to make sure that you're doing the right things. Not before, and certainly not after. Once the deal's under agreement, once the deal's going and you've bought it and it's closed, it's time to go. It's work time. It's commit, be successful. There's no option otherwise. And while you're doing it, have fun. Make sure you enjoy the experience, because you only get a few of these shots in life. The deals that have made me the most money were run by other people. They didn't do the deal. They choked on it. They couldn't do it. They just didn't swing it. Lack of knowledge, lack of trust in themselves, whatever it was. Lack of experience, whatever it was. Fear, connected to the wrong people, whatever it was. I didn't choke. I went through it, even though they were painful deals, terrifying deals. Went through it, and on the other side of it, it worked out. Every single deal I've ever had, even my worst deals, still worked out. I still made money. I still learned something. So no matter what life sends at you, don't experience fear until it's necessary. And it's not necessary until you close the deal. And after you close the deal, the only time you should experience fear is at the closing table. That's the only time where something could go wrong last minute and you don't have much control over it. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
That's the only time where a last minute negotiation could change the entire deal, is at the closing table. Other than that, you've got time. You've got leverage, you've got ability. At the closing table, that's where you should experience fear. That's okay. I sweat every time I go into one of those. And as soon as we close, it is what it is. Whatever I bought, whatever I'm going into, we've got this. We're gonna be successful, we're gonna find a way to turn it. And if it doesn't work out, I'll find a way to make it work out on the other. I'll double down, do another deal, whatever it takes to clean up my mess, right?
Mm.
After you close, you commit to that success and you run it, and you enjoy the hell out of it. Once I close the deal, you see my posts. I'm posting everywhere. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing it. This is what it is. Enjoy the heck out of it, because in those moments, that's where you're built. That's what it's all about. That make sense?
Mhm.
Good class?
Yes.
All right, good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Great stuff. If you're interested in joining the Alchemist Mastermind, we meet 6 times a year. If you're interested in coming to Paul Fink's The Success Mavericks event, the Millionaire Maverick, you're coming with me. It's going to be March 26th, or 24th to 26th. It's whatever that March is, whatever that weekend is. We're going out there. It's $1,000 to buy everything only today for the next, I don't know, we'll say 4 hours. When you have a choice, always work with the best. Cheers to your success.